Well, hello everybody. To the one person gonna watch us, this is the next BB Disney All Stars interview. We are doing it with John Buckley, who got evicted in the second live night. John, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I know it always takes me like a really long time to get over. Like it takes me a while to like get used to like not being in the game and thinking about anything that could have, would have, should have happened. So, but always the question I like to ask is, what do you think happened? Why are you sitting here or driving here with us?
Well, that's the great thing is that like I always had a feeling that there was something going on that I was missing, and I could never get my finger on it. I couldn't like something seemed a little too obvious and a little too easy, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I think that I think there was a larger hand at play in the vote, although people that I would have assumed had been close to Robertoria came to me in like one of the breaker rooms and said, like, I didn't know that they were doing this. And it like, so I don't know. I think a lot of things happened in a route that ended up with me going home. And I think when Farrell won veto, I think that made my target look bigger. I had just gone off on Victoria and like just laid everything out on the table. Um, but I had still been told that I had the votes to stay, and then the three votes that would have done it all flipped on me after the veto was used. So I think that it was a chance of opportunity for some people to take me out because much like Rose, I hadn't really been like targeted up until that point, and they saw a chance and they took it. So I think that's what happened.
Yeah, definitely true. You were not nominated. I don't count the first week. So, um,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was a 5-1 vote. I know we said 6-1, but we did have to correct it. It was 5-1. Do you know who was the one vote, I assume?
I think it was John Farrell. I'm very certain it was John Farrell
So yeah.
because, from my understanding, is that it was like I didn't have Keaton and I didn't have Lily voting to keep me. So it all hinged on Jeremy, Karen, and Lake. And Lake, I'm assuming, was going to vote for me. And then Jeremy and Karen didn't want to show their cards. So they folded and went with it. Because if they had voted with Farrell, it would have shown that there were sides. Do I think that that was smart of them? Absolutely not. But whatever. Like, if they get to the end of it, they get to the end. But definitely felt like there's a knife in my back right now.
So that's usually my next question, which I feel like you were going to answer. Like, who are you the most betrayed by? If you had to pick one person, who were like, you were going into this. I know you had like 10 minutes, if that. So you were like, I'm pretty sure this person's going to save me. And then all of a sudden, it just wasn't happening.
It was both Karen and Jeremy. It was both of them. Like I was closest with them the whole game. Like, and I know it feels like, hypocritical for me to be close to people that I'm friends with, but like in a game sense, like we really like our common interests aligned and we kind of had each other's backs and everything. And it just like on an instant, like they were just kind of like, no, like I'm we're voting you out. And it just like no reasoning, no nothing, even though I was beside the person that they've all been obsessing over getting rid of for eons now. It just didn't make any sense. It just felt like they had been like gaslighting me up to thinking that that they wanted to get rid of Jen for so long. And then the one moment they have to get rid of her when she's right there, they don't take it. It baffles my brain. It baffles my brain.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So you brought up something that you brought up about how you betrayed people, or you said something like that. Let's talk about the beginning of the game. When sometimes people think that sometimes people think the first week can just be easy and you just get rid of like a house target, but y'all decided that that wasn't going to be the case. and that you're gonna have this big split vote, right? And then you're on the bot you were on the bottom of that. Um,
Yeah.
but then you decided when you were HOH, you were going to kind of turn on the bottom of the people you were with to further yourself. Is there any what was your thinking process behind that? What was were you just on survivor
So
mode?
yeah, no, that was I was on survival mode, and the thing was like I kind of saw that my position in the game wasn't good. Like the start of it did not start well for me, and that side was losing numbers fast, and for me to like yes, I could have been with in the moment like I could have been with Marcelo and Jen and Lily, but like this was before Keaton flipped over. This was before um like people like started to actually think beyond like such a very narrow scope of the game. And my fear was if I just went along with that, and I tried to make a move, it like if anybody else wins HOH, like I'm gonna go or I'm gonna be like associated with them. And then like once they're gone, I'm gonna go. So it was honestly more of how do I get myself more footing in the game, just with everybody so that I can show, hey, I'm not just sticking to one side. Because at least from my perspective, it seemed like a lot of people were zeroing in on like known alliances. Like if it was public that like certain people were working together, they became like everybody was zoning in on that. And it felt like everybody was zoning in on like me, Lily, Jen, Marcelo. And if I stayed with that, with the numbers being so big as they were in the beginning, like that's much different, like at final 9 than versus like final like 18, So there's 14 other people you have to contend with versus just like 5. So it was a calculated thing. And I do think getting rid of Marcelo helped me get farther. But I think I got a little too I don't want to say comfortable, but I got a little too in a groove with certain things that I like oversaw other things, if that makes sense.
So, because if you think about it, you besides Marcelo, the people who you have Lily and Jen, and then you say Keaton flip to them. They're all still like they have still been in the game, even though this minority, quote unquote, has been targeted from the very beginning. Why do you? It seems like there's a pattern where even though there was two sides, people were going after middle people. Why do you think that was a thing?
Because certain people that were in the middle were doing what I was trying to do
Hmm.
and weaponizing those that have targets on their back.
Hmm.
And trying to use them as shields. And the issue is that certain people got into other people's brains, and those that were using the weapons didn't want me there. Namely people like Keaton, um, and people like Robert Toria. So I think I think that's what happened. I think that's what's continuing to happen too. Because I think that if I didn't put up Marcelo and Marcelo stayed in the game, I think that the landscape of this game would have looked a lot differently. And like even when I did that move, I even was like thinking like, like this could end very badly, or this could take me really far. And it's a risk, and I'll take it. Um, but also too, like if we're gonna talk strictly about Marcelo, Marcelo would say that like he was working super closely with me, but he gave me nothing on a game level, like except like, oh, I got you, but like nothing else. Like I had heard he had groupings with other people and all this and all that, and I was like, he can tell me this and tell me that, and then he turns out that he actually was, and I was like, you did a really bad job of showing that because I didn't trust it. So whatever, it is what it is. if that turns out to be the dumbest move of the season, I'm gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed at all y'all. But I at
Um,
least thought it was fun.
well, time, what is it? Time can only tell, right, when it happens, right? Like, one thing that I don't take this the wrong way. One thing I noticed that you love to say is you love to say it's all stars, baby. And that's what happened when you were HOH. You said that. So like you
Yeah.
obviously and I'm not saying it in a bad way, I'm just saying when you targeted him, you thought it was the move. You don't know what's gonna happen 5 rounds later. You still made it, what, 6 to 7 rounds farther than he did. So
Yeah,
you never know. But if we
exactly.
would but if we would talk about regrets, John, what do you regret what happened during the live when Victoria told you she was going to nominate you?
A little bit, a little
Hmm.
bit. Um, but what got me really fired up was the hypocrisy in what she said. So I don't regret going off on her. Maybe I regret exposing other people. But I'll be completely honest with you. I think even without that, I still think they would have targeted me.
Okay, so you still think you would have been the target?
Yes, I still think so. I think that I made it clearer for like that was more so a pitch to everybody else to be like, you need to see what's happening in front of your eyes, like because like this is what's going to happen if you keep following along with this. So do with that what you will, figure it out in the long run. Um, I don't know. It's hard for me to have regrets. I play the game as my own person. Did I like immediately think I blew everything up in my face? Yeah, I did. But that was a human reaction of somebody who had had no sleep the night before, had worked a long day at work, wanted to go to sleep, and gets told by somebody that then goes, thank you to Jesus for letting me win HOH. So I was like, cool, blame religion on putting up me during Pride Month. Great. Love that. Um, great. Um, whatever. It is what it is. And I can't be mad about it. I know probably y'all think I'm like psychotic um about
I
it,
never
but
said that.
no, I heard your little smirk about it. I heard it. I know y'all
What's
were I, I know y'all had to have been living because let's be honest here, not a single fucking like blow up in this game has ever like been like a direct call out of people's like real games.
I actually was not in the room with you and Victoria. I was help modding. I was. We were trying to separate like with different rooms, and I was not in that room, so I did not get to hear it. I'm just
Uh,
going based on what I was told what happened. um,
yeah.
but you said something. I was gonna piggyback off that as the next question. So who were your closest allies? You had the alliance with Jeremy and Karen, but what was your long-term goal going into it? Who
Going into the season or going into like
the rest of the game? Like if you would have
the rest
stayed,
of the
right?
game?
Yeah.
If I would have stayed, I would have I would have wanted to work with Jeremy and Karen more. Um and Farrell. Honestly, more so Farrell. I knew Farrell had connections with Jill. And I thought that could potentially be useful. And I knew that I was kind of appeasing like the Lilies and the Keatons and the Robertorias to try to not have them look at me. Obviously, that didn't work out, but like their numbers had to start getting picked off um, sooner rather than later. Um, and which honestly, the Sierra vote frustrates me to no end because I was like, why don't we trim off some of these numbers? Why don't we trim off some of these people like Lake or Keaton, like who could potentially like are wild cards that could screw everything up. And they just wanted to vote out Sierra, who like didn't really do anything. I didn't have any power. Like everyone was just Sierra this, Sierra that. Nobody was changing their mind. Nobody was doing whatever. And I love Sierra, but I'm not gonna stick my neck out for her. But I kind of wish I did in the moment. So like I saw this coming. I know I didn't really answer your question, but
No, it's okay.
this that just so many things are frustrating me right now about
No,
this
I
fucking
know.
game.
I
And it's
I
like
appreciate
it,
I I'm
it's
sorry.
like that. It's like that feeling when like It's like you're like almost like you were trying to figure out who the serial killer was, and like you just started to realize that you might be in danger, and then the serial killer comes up and just chops your head off. Like it's just like, oh, that's
Yeah.
just frustrating.
It's like Among Us when
That's
you finally figure out who it was and then they kill you 30 seconds later.
exactly like that's how I feel right now. Like I feel like an idiot.
No,
But
it's
it's
okay.
fine.
I appreciate you doing this now because it's like I know like I did it with Rose earlier and I said the same thing. I'm like I know I know it takes me a day, over a day to get over things and you were in the game for like 27 days. So like that's a long time.
Yeah.
Um oh damn it I had another question. Okay, so let's talk about it. You're gonna be in the jury house. You're with your bestie Cody and Sierra and Rose. How are we looking at jury? Are we I don't know your stance on better juries. If you believe in them, I don't think they're a thing. I think you can have any emotion you want in the jury house. So how are you voting as a juror?
Well, I always vote on the best game, but I see the game as a three-dimensional being. You know, as an org host, I don't like people who dismiss based purely off of like a negative instance or based purely off of like personal things. Like I've seen juries completely ruin outcomes of games that I've hosted because they were mad at something so fucking stupid that had nothing to do with anything. So I'm never gonna let that bother me. I'm definitely gonna vote level-headed, but like I am gonna look into like how things were handled socially. Like how did you handle things to my face when you knew I was going out the door? How did you handle your strategic decisions? How did you play the game not just in a flashy way, but also like in a sneaky maneuvering way? So there's a lot of things that go into it, and honestly, with it being there being so much game left, even though it doesn't feel like there should be, but there's a lot. Um, Really, anything can happen, and I'm just gonna start picking the brains of everybody that comes in to formulate a more solid idea as to what's really going on in that game right now. Because I think some people are in full control, and some people are laying face down on the sidewalk, not knowing what's going on. So we'll just have to, absorb the information of what I can get.
Yeah. So well who's not knowing what's going on? Who's left on the sidewalk?
I think Lake has no fucking clue what's happening. I think Lake, um, I think Lake is getting information from other people and just kind of running with it. I also think Jen, to a degree, um, also does not fully comprehend what's happening. Mainly with Keaton, I think she sees him as an ally. I think he sees her as just a shield, and whenever she's no longer necessary for him, he's going to discard her. Um, I think Robert Toria as well, um, to a degree. Like they don't their game. It was very obvious when they were not doing something. So I think they have an idea in their brain of what's going on, but they have no perception as to how they are in the game in the moment. At least I think. They think they know where they stand. I don't think they know where they actually stand. Those are the big three. I think that Jeremy and Karen, because now finding out that Rose and Jeremy were really close, and then Jeremy and I also were really close. Jeremy lost two really close allies in one night. So unless Jeremy has some master plan where they're doing that to everybody, that's not looking great for them. And Aaron's on Keaton's radar. So if Keaton can discard me, um, then I don't see why Karen can't get discarded by Keaton either. So I think that Jill winning HOH could, potentially shake things up in people's minds, but I think that some damage has already been done, and certain people have momentums that at this point, with these voting numbers and these, relationships, that some things may be inevitable at this point.
So well I usually like to go into these rapid questions. So let's talk about it. You said about Jill winning HOH. So did you see the nomination post and who she put up?
No, I didn't see anything about it. Where'd you
Okay,
post it?
it's on Facebook.
Oh,
Eh,
girl, you think I was learning how to play a game of ducks tonight? I saw my boo post and that was it.
Okay, yeah. You know it's funny. We honestly, oh no, it's been a bit. I guess we were working on the veto, so I guess like we didn't post it in the jury. But so Jill nominated, well, Jen nominated Lake with her power, and
Okay.
then Jill nominated Keaton and Jen.
Okay, good. Good.
Okay,
Honestly.
so which goes into my next questions. Who do you think will be the next person evicted from the game?
Okay, so if Keaton is on the block, Keaton is gone. Like
Mhm.
come eviction night, Keaton's gonna go. I think that if Keaton wins veto, then Jen's gonna go. I don't think Lake would leave this round with that knob set. But again, who fucking knows what people are gonna do with their votes? Because I don't think like they're tunnel visioning right now. Everybody is tunnel vision. There's
Mhm.
not many people thinking long term. They're all fucking
Yes.
tunnel vision.
Yeah. Okay, and then I know you'll love this question. Who do you want to be the next person evicted from the Big Brother house?
Honestly, real tea. I want Darren here. Real tea.
You just want to give her a
I
big
want
hug.
Darren a, a big hug, and I want to take the knife out of my back and put in hers too. I want us to have matching scars.
That'd be cute. You guys can have like scar tattoos saying "I got fucked over in movie Disney."
Honest, honestly, like I that and I need her full attention for CTC, honestly. So she needs to get out this week. She needs to get out because
Yeah.
I need people to be around for that.
Oh my God,
Please and
though.
thank
But
you.
like, yeah, it's funny.
For my own selfish reasons. I'm so convinced now with these fucking questions. You guys were either really fucking entertained by my blow up of Victoria, y'all think that I completely fucked myself over.
What
It's
what
one
what did
of the
I
two.
ask you? No, because I think the thing is interesting to know if you regret it. Cause like
Oh,
it,
or that, or like me putting up Marcelo. It's like I can't tell if y'all like just thought it was spicy or y'all like think like, damn, he fucked up.
a lot of my questions, if you are like a very alliance based, as you can tell, and that was one of the things. Oh, honestly, that is just something I'm very nosy, so that's very thing I was just
Okay,
wondering.
that's also true. But you're also from Philly, so I can never trust you sometimes.
That's true. That is true. Where so
Can't
did you
tell.
live in? We're still recording. Do you live in Harrisburg or no?
Yeah, I live outside Harrisburg.
Okay, I guess I just assumed Harrisburg because you work at Hershey. But I okay. I do have more questions though. Who do you want to win and who do you think will win?
So personally, right now, I want Lily to win because I first of all, she's like literally this. I said it last night on the Zoom. She's literally the sweetest person. Like
Mm.
I would go on calls with her. Did I think that she trusted me? No. But did I act like I thought that because I just wanted to talk to her? Yes, I just loved her. Um, like she's so nice and she's such like a genuine person and she's smart and she thinks through the game and she's good at comps. And like if Lily made it to the end of the game, I would give her my vote without a doubt. Like she unless she really starts sucking at the game after I leave. But like from day one to day 27, Lily, in my opinion, was playing the best game. Um, so I want Lily to win. Who do I think is gonna win? Knowing an all-star season, probably Jill.
You think
Somebody like
Jill?
middle of the road that's done some
Mm.
things, but like they're gonna take out the big name, like the big targets, and then you're gonna have a couple people in the middle that just happen to flounder there. So I see like a Jill Robertoria final two where Jill beats Robertoria because the jury hates Robertoria. Absolutely. And would I live for that? Low key, absolutely, because nothing at this point would make me feel happier than watching fucking Victoria scramble on a fucking Zoom call more in my fucking life. And Robert's sitting there in the fucking airport with a little pouty face on. Like, honest to God, bro. Like, y'all were talking about sex in my DMs. Like, fucking Victoria's talking about how she loves rim jobs. And then she goes, oh, yeah, I'm nominating you. Like, you didn't put me through that hell to then put me up and send me home. Like, that's just not very live,
Well,
laugh, lesbian.
So
No, I'm not.
she really fucked you over if you think about it.
No, like
No.
they always want. Oh my God, give me this tangent. I know I went on it in the call on that thing, but like the fact that they had the nerve to come to me initially they said, well, you don't, we try to tell strategy with you, but you don't respond, you don't do this, you don't do whatever. And I'm like, look through here, bitch. I always try to talk to you. And but all you want to do is just like fish information out of me, and you never want to give it to me. Like they never wanted to provide their point of view on the strategy or anything, which showed me that they didn't trust me and they were just getting information out of me. So no, I'm not gonna bite on that. Like, and I tried to message them too, talking about stuff, and the response would be like, I don't know. But I knew they would go around like the round that they were going around and telling, oh my God, this is a big part of the whole Marcelo thing that I left out. The thing before about when Julia, not Julia, when Lily and Robertoria and Jen and Marcella were like pressuring Jeremy, Karen, and I into voting for Julia, even though none of us said that we wanted to vote for Julia, and then went around and started telling everybody that we were all locked voting for Julia, even though none of us said that we were going to. That was a big reason why I did end up putting on Marcelo, was because I didn't want to be associated with that because I was scared of Julia's wrath in the moment.
I did low key forget about that, to be honest.
I low key forgot about it too. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, no, that was the big reason, and it just kind of like was there. That's why I was scared of being associated with people, especially them, because they were throwing my name around without my consent, really. So I said, "You fuck with the buck fucks back." Like I'm gonna put
I'm
you
not
up, and if
I yeah, I am a fan of that quote, I'm not gonna lie.
I literally told Victoria and Robert too that if you fuck with the buck, the buck fucks back. And I said that literally yesterday morning in a completely random conversation. Um,
Do you say
so
this in your real life, or did you say that in works?
oh no, I say it's in real life too. Like, don't fuck with the buck. Like it started in an org. It started in the experiment. Ironically, when I idled out Jeremy like pre-merge on experiment 13. And because Jeremy, I went into a swap like on the bottom, and Jeremy immediately was like, "Well, Buckley's the first one to go." And I found out about this. A couple people flipped over, but I still played an idol as a security blanket because I didn't trust people. I'll be honest with you, because I was relying on Casey Hall and Keaton, of all people.
I don't know, Casey.
Icon, legend, queen, love her to death. Um, 10 out of 10. But anyway, so I played Night as security blanket, and then Jeremy went home, and I on the call, a little bit hyped up, had a little bit of booze in my system because I was at the Cheesecake Factory. Um, just screams, "Don't fuck with the buck, or this is what happens." And then ever since then, like it's stuck. Because I was with a bunch of my like close friends in life too. So like now they use it. Like I like everything. Like it's a full circle moment. I'll be honest. Like it
I just
happens all the time.
I I just want you to be on Survivor one day, and I want you to write on your parchment someone who was trying to get you out, and I want you to write "Don't fuck with the buck." Like I don't know why. I want to start saying that, but it doesn't make sense for me to say it. So
It, someday maybe. Someday
maybe.
maybe. Who knows?
So last but not least, question: well, how was your Disney All Star experience? What did you take from this lovely journey?
Well, this is my first All Stars game ever. Playing in, it works now for like 3.5 years, four
Mhm.
years, however long it was since 2019, like late 2019 at this point. But I'd never gone to play an All Stars game, so to be like on All Stars period was cool. To make it to Final 10 in a very intense All Star season that was pseudo Survivor, make the jury, and like not get like officially nominated until like the night I went out and they had to take me out in that fashion. Like, can I be really mad? Like, I don't think they would have like sniped me so hard if they weren't scared of me in some way, shape, or form. So
You should definitely be proud of yourself. 10 out of
I'm
20.
proud. Yeah, and I'm like that's not terrible. Um,
Mm-mm.
that's not terrible for me. And I, I'm proud of it. I did better than I thought. I genuinely didn't think I was going to make the jury after the first round. So the fact that I made the jury and made it like a couple rounds into jury too, I think is pretty cool. So I'll take it. I told myself I'm not allowed to get upset with however far I make it in this season because, this is supposed to be fun. It's all stars. Like I'm not having it, ruin my life or make me super invested or make me miserable. But no, I had fun. It was much more enjoyable than my first time playing. Looked at Epcot, but say la vie. Honestly, though, if Jen goes home, I'm gonna tell her this is the curse of when her and I play a Big Brother game. When we played Epcot, she was ninth. No, she was eighth, and I was seventh. And then when we played 1984, she was ninth, and I was eighth. Um, so if she goes right after me, that means that anytime we're in a Big Brother game, if one goes out, the other follows. And I just want her to know that in the future, that if we find ourselves in a Big Brother game, that we need to work together. We don't have an option at this
So
point.
she got ninth and you got eighth in Epcot. Is that what you said?
She that was in 1984. I
Oh,
got seventh and she got eighth in Epcot.
because
She
I
went out
got
the round
eighth.
before
Gotcha.
Epcot.
Gotcha. I forgot you all
Yeah,
played 1984. Okay.
I listen. We all have our feelings on that series, but as a game and as a cast, like that was an extremely fun game, and the cast was extremely great. Like that's where I met Rose. Jeremy was there. Um, Lake was there. Jill was there. Jen was there. Like there was a lot of people in this game that were in that game. It was a great time, So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Epcot was a lot more volatile. I got in fights with people like almost every other day,
Mhm.
like
That's fun.
like screaming arguments. But I got evicted on the 11th eviction. Then I got evicted on the 11th eviction here. So, see,
Well, thank you. I'm gonna stop it there. Since you answered the last question, but no, thank you. Like I said, I said earlier to someone, your emotions and opinions are valid no matter what. No one. I hate when people tell people how they can feel after a game is over, especially
yeah.
a day after. So I'm gonna stop it
So
with
shit
there.
happens. It happens